In Haines, Alaska, Parker Schnabel, a young gold miner, was born to his grandfather, John Schnabel. John Schnabel was the miner's grandfather. His experience taught him the importance of putting in a lot of effort and the results of each gold nugget that he extracted from the ground. By the time he was 16 years old, he had taken over the family firm and started making deals with prominent figures in the mining industry, such as Tony Beets. He also had the ability to get land leases and demonstrate his capabilities on national television. He had amassed more than $13 million worth of gold by the time he was 25 years old. On the other hand, the high expense of pursuing gold was accompanied by the costs that were associated with operating a mining operation. The equipment that his team had to transport was so expensive that it might be compared to the price of some people's homes. These machines required continual maintenance, operators with specialized skills, and a substantial amount of gasoline. Another mound of cash was labor of some kind. When he made the decision to invest in Dominion Creek, he put $15 million into that enterprise in the hopes of receiving a return that would propel his career to the next level. The celebrity that comes with being on reality television comes with a number of benefits, including admirers, public recognition, and a consistent revenue stream that is not necessarily dependent on the price of gold. On the other hand, it comes with a spotlight that has the potential to make every failure feel a little bit more painful. As a result of Parker's investigation, he discovered that when the cameras are on, people are waiting for errors, which are what keep reality television going. However, despite the fact that his crew toiled relentlessly and put in 75-hour weeks, the weight of leadership was firmly on his shoulders. It wasn't simply that they were employees, they were also the ones who knew him when he was at his worst and in the gutter. Not only did he owe them a wage, but he also believed that this business could continue to function. His personal life was falling apart in addition to the strain that was being placed on his finances. It was during the 7th season of Gold Rush that viewers had the opportunity to become acquainted with Ashley Ewell, an Australian veterinarian nurse. He had been in a relationship with her. The termination of their relationship in the year 2017 left him obviously upset, and the fact that he was emotionally vulnerable in that way does not make mining any different. In the moment that Parker disclosed that he had declared bankruptcy, he accepted defeat, so revealing a level of betrayal that extended beyond monetary considerations.
Walk away.
Yeah, walk away.
I'm gonna go get a thermos.
Is there some gold here?
Yeah, we're gonna waste.
The stark fact that gold mining is unpredictable, hazardous, and may even be downright unpleasant is the subject of this narrative. The devastating disappointment that comes when you pour all you have, time, money, and sweat, into the land and the earth decides to keep its treasures buried is there. The joy of a good haul and the exhilaration of seeing numbers go up are only two examples of the emotions that can be experienced. In his time working in the mining sector, gold miner Parker Schnabel has seen a great deal of failure and difficulty in terms of his finances. In the gold mining industry, the highs are powerful, but the lows cause you to rethink everything, from the decisions you make in business to the relationships you have. Although fame can magnify achievement, it also has the potential to make defeat more isolated. Downsizing is not just about cutting costs. It is also about telling individuals who have put their trust in you that they do not have a job anymore. Parker may have to start making difficult decisions regarding his finances in order to do this. Dominion Creek presents yet another obstacle, which is the looming question of whether or not he will be able to keep things functional. In addition to the need for additional people, fuel, and equipment, the cash flow is beginning to dry up. There have been times when Parker's presence on social media has been a double-edged sword. While social media platforms like as Instagram and Twitter allow him to maintain his connection with his supporters, they also provide the general public with a front-row seat to his shortcomings. It may be challenging to deal with this situation when he is attempting to maintain a positive mood for himself and his staff. The bond that Parker has with his family, and in especially the teachings that he has learned from his grandfather, John Schnabel, is at the center of everything that is going on here.
Are you going to wheel me up?
Yeah.
Okay, anytime.
Parker has been able to persevere despite the fact that everything else appeared to be coming apart, because he learnt from him the qualities of hard work, tenacity, and perseverance. However, Even these lessons do not necessarily make it easier to accept the hard realities of failure after they have been experienced. The mining of gold is not just about gold. It is also about hope, danger, and the belief that there is something greater waiting for you if you dig deep enough. In spite of the fact that Parker has spent the most of his life believing in that concept, he is suddenly confronted with the opposite side of the coin. When there is no gold at the bottom of the pan, what are the things that happen? Parker is not the first miner to suffer a significant loss, and it is highly unlikely that he will be the last. The fact that Parker is accomplishing all of this while millions of people are watching is what makes him stand out from the crowd. All of the mistakes and failures that have occurred are now available for the general world to view. It won't be simple for Parker to take the next step. It is difficult to make a living in mining, and the financial losses he has sustained are significant. However, it is possible that there is something to be said about the manner in which he continues to get up, even when circumstances appear to be dire. When it comes to gold mining, tenacity is just as important as luck, and Parker possesses both of these qualities in plenty. Is that sufficient to have a positive impact on the situation? Time is the only thing that can tell. A Dutch gold miner, upon discovering that his stationary dredges were not going to get him to his aim, made the decision to concentrate on an abandoned trommel machine that had been constructed by a renegade miner several decades earlier. This is the story that centers around the Dutch gold miner. As opposed to transporting material to a predetermined spot, the trommel provided mobility and the freedom to move with pay soil. In order to return to base camp, the miner was required to disassemble and transport the trommel, which resulted in a daily expenditure of more than $60,000. The steep terrain and boat voyage made the journey challenging. One truck had a damaged tire and twisted rim, but the miner was unharmed. The crew worked hard to disassemble and transfer the trommel, moving the 20-ton drum onto a military tank transporter despite adverse conditions. During the trip, the truck got bogged in the mud and needed a backhoe loader to release it. The mining boss was pleased when they returned the trommel to camp after 3 days. The mobile trommel appeared efficient and flexible since it could handle massive amounts of material faster than anything else the digger had employed. As gold prices were at an all-time high, the miner relied on the trommel. The mining operator always thought long-term and took risks, and the trommel was a future investment. It helped him keep his business going despite all the challenges.
Pipeline to see what happens.
The mining veteran had previously spent over $1 million on a custom excavator to dig 9,000 ounces of gold. His prosperity came from smart investments and taking chances that others wouldn't. The Dutch miner was known for his tough management style, which was not always well appreciated. After throwing gasoline into a dredge pond and lighting it on fire, he was criticized and fined for environmental infractions. His harsh treatment of employees, especially during failures, often irritated them. Safety and the insistence on correcting mistakes created a high-pressure workplace. Living on a reality show made things harder. The prospector was scrutinized by the public because his every move was broadcast. The risk-taker knew his actions would have consequences, whether they violated environmental laws or mistreated his crew. However, he remained true to himself, took risks, took responsibility for his actions, and handled criticism. In the mining veteran's ongoing struggle to remain gold game leader, the trommel was just another episode. The risk-taker had always gambled, and this time it paid off. Mechanical problems and tough terrain plagued Yukon mining. However, his determination was unwavering. It was a gamble, but the trommel helped him meet his output goals and reaffirm his purpose in life.
Parker Schnabel, a teenager mining in Bolivia, embarks on a daring journey to find gold. He compares the process to playing the lottery, with the excitement of potentially making a fortune or leaving him with nothing but dirt. The team, consisting of Tyler, Diego, and Danny, is determined to find the perfect spot for the gold to settle. They make improvements to their sluice box, which they believe is the right one for the job. However, chaos ensues when the pump starts acting up, and Parker loses control of a loose pipe.
I can go down and start setting the pump up and all that shit. This is pretty straightforward.
Yep.
I would wrap the carpet over the top and nail it to the bottom of the front.
Tyler, Diego, and Danny scramble around trying to make the machine work while he supervises. Despite the chaos, they remain optimistic about their chances of success. At least 1/4 of a gram is needed to justify continuing the operation. They manage to pull about 500 milligrams, or 1/3 of a gram per yard of dirt, which puts them on par with his Yukon site. As night falls, they gather around a small fire, eating a hurried meal. There's a sense of camaraderie among the crew, as they all lean into Parker's dream of finding gold. The next morning, they return to the sluice box with its AstroTurf liner, and continue to work tirelessly. Parker points out flecks of gold as they settle in the sluice, giving him enough evidence to keep the operation moving forward. Danny's job is to clear out the rocks that clog the sluice, and despite the tedious tasks, everyone plays a role. Parker's teamwork is evident, even if he's the one doing most of the talking and dreaming. Parker has his eyes on a specific stretch of ground that he thinks could be the jackpot. He shares his reasoning, throwing out phrases about gold settling at natural low points, but it's all a bit of a gamble. The crew is willing to give it a shot, even if they're running mostly on faith. They move the operation down to this new spot, resetting the sluice box and repositioning the pump. A faint glint of relief breaks into the crowd, and they let out a collective sigh of relief. It's not a fortune, but it's something. And for now, that's enough. They keep running dirt, piling wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow into the sluice, and bit by bit, they start to accumulate a small collection of flakes. Parker's excitement grows, feeding off each tiny success, each glimmer in the sluice. The day wears on, and the sluice box fills with dirt and debris. The crew takes turns clearing it out, making sure the AstroTurf isn't getting clogged. It's dirty, back-breaking work.
We want to know what the mining potential is, so that's why it's really important we do some bulk testing. There's a lot of pressure on this sluice box, and there's a lot of pressure on today.
But there's an unspoken understanding that they're all part of something bigger. Their shared vision is what drives them. And even when it seems like they're just shoveling dirt into a homemade contraption, there's that glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, they'll strike it big. The sluice box starts to show its worth, and by late afternoon, they've managed to collect enough gold to fill a small vial. For their leader, it's proof of concept, and he can't help but smile, knowing that this is just the beginning of a long, uncertain journey. Parker Schnabel, a gold miner and TV personality, has turned his hobby into a multi-million-dollar empire. His origin story is like something straight out of a movie script. A young, ambitious teenager taking over his grandfather's gold mine in Alaska. He was not even old enough to legally drink. But there he was, elbow-deep in mud, running an operation that would make most adults run for the hills. With every setback and every piece of broken equipment, he just kept doubling down. Somehow it worked. It wasn't purely luck either, although let's face it, a lot of people would have failed miserably. He was sharp. He took every penny he earned and poured it right back into the next big claim or the next shiny piece of equipment. Somehow, it worked. Fast forward a few years, Parker isn't just messing around in Alaska anymore. He's setting his sights on the Yukon, and now we're talking about some serious money. The amount of planning, effort, and sheer cash it takes just to keep the machines running is enough to make anyone want to quit. Dominion Creek is a serious operation, with daily operating costs that'll make your head spin and deadlines that feel like a ticking time bomb. There's no room for error, and he has a 6-year clock ticking to turn this investment into something more than just an elaborate money pit. It appears that Parker is not content with only excavating in North America. He also requires the excitement of the journey. Enter Parker's Trail, a story in which our favorite risk-taker makes the decision to go all over the world in search of the next big sparkling find. While he has been traveling from Australia to Papua New Guinea, he has been dragging his crew through a variety of environments.
I know that we have a lot of things on the go. We have Australia Creek, we have Dominion now.
Ranging from swamps to desert heat, in an effort to determine whether or not there is a method to earn a profit and possibly improve his ratings at the same time. Recent events have piqued his interest in Brazil, specifically the allure of the Amazon region and its purported wealth. It goes without saying that the situation is not limited to gold. Rather, it is a complex web of bureaucratic hurdles, legal ambiguities, and environmental debates. However, he is completely committed. He is currently working in conditions that would cause the majority of people to flee for a shower and a comfortable bed. He is mixing with local miners while under these conditions. Parker, on the other hand, views it as nothing more than another obstacle. As long as there is gold at the end of it, the dangers are merely a part of the experience. When it comes to Parker, one thing to note is that he is not a one-man show. Although he is the public face of the company, it is his team that ensures everything runs smoothly. These two individuals, Mitch Blaschke, the mechanic, and Tyson Lee, the truck driver, are responsible for ensuring that the plans are actually implemented and become something more than just a wishful notion. Although some people may characterize his managerial style as fear-driven and others as brash, there is no doubting that there is respect for the individuals who continue to support him. Not only has the no-nonsense and occasionally fiery manner acquired a reputation, but it has also resulted in the formation of a group of individuals who are aware that they are making history, or, at the very least, mining some pretty substantial amounts of gold. The mining industry is a difficult and expensive business that involves the quest of gold. The ultimate objective of mining is to recover 80,000 ounces of gold from the earth. However, the process is not only about making rapid rewards, it also involves the excitement of the chase, taking risks, and going beyond what anyone else believed was technically possible.
Yeah, I think the only way we can kind of get over this hump is to get a plan going. I mean, we could sluice a bunch of tailing.
The primary focus has shifted away from the conventional gold mining industry and toward the expansion of the business. There are a number of components that make up the drive, including expanding operations, making investments in cutting-edge technology, and developing a sustainable future. There is a clear demonstration of dedication at Dominion Creek because the property is enormous, the stakes are great, and the challenges are unrelenting. There are obstacles in the form of licensing requirements, enormous initial expenses, logistical problems, and a persistent doubt regarding whether or not the gold is even present. To counter this, each and every obstacle is merely another hill to climb. It is crystal apparent what the vision is: 80,000 ounces of gold. This would solidify the status of the individual as one of the most successful miners of this generation if it were to be accomplished. When it comes to conducting an operation such as this, every minute counts, and the clock is beginning to tick. It's not only about digging, it's about getting the appropriate personnel, the right equipment, and aligning every aspect so that when the dirt starts moving, it doesn't stop until the goal is accomplished. Only then will the project be successful. It is the most significant risk that has been taken up to this point, and if it is successful, Dominion Creek will be nothing short of legendary. The idea is not limited to the present moment. Rather, it is about leaving something that is more than just a bank account that is stuffed with riches. To be recognized as someone who broke boundaries, who refused to take the easy way out, and who altered the way people thought about gold mining is the goal here. There has already been a demonstration of interest in a variety of endeavors, ranging from television series to the exploration of ancient mining trails and the expansion of the footprint around the globe. There is always something new that attracts interest, whether it be the exploration of technology breakthroughs in mining, the exploration of virgin terrain in South America, or the taking on of some of the environmental difficulties that the mining industry faces.
300 would be ideal, but, beggars can't be choosers.
People who work in mining have a life that is rough, grueling, and full of experiences that the majority of people never get the chance to have. Although the stakes are always high and the margin for error is extremely narrow, there are certain people who thrive under the strain that they are under. Those risks have the potential to yield enormous benefits if they are accompanied by the appropriate team, plan, and a little bit of luck. The challenge and the thought that something is being done that so few people have the courage to even attempt are what keep this effort continuing. The money is not the only thing that keeps it going. For everything to remain at the top of the game, it is the drive and the need for more that is responsible.